anyone can log into my Emma, send an e-blast, and use your email address as the sender, right? So how does Gmail and Yahoo and all these places, before they start sending these emails to their users, how can they verify that this is from an authenticated source, right? Because anyone could just put any random email. Could just send an e-blast from Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop, or at least help prevent emails from going to spam. If you're a marketing agency or involved in development, marketing, SEO, or anything like that, this year has been a tough year because as of January or February 2024, basically a lot of the email protocols have changed. So email platforms such as Gmail and Yahoo have started to implement really strict conditions. And if they're not implemented, then they will send any email straight to spam. So if you ever had someone ask you, hey, these emails you're sending out on our behalf, they're going to spam. I want to make sure they land in inboxes. The way they do this now is to double check email authentication. It's just a basic measure. There's going to be 3 records that need to be added in order to identify, or at least to make sure that your domain name is authenticated. So if you look here, for example, I actually received this email, and this is a good way to double check if you're passing or failing. So if you look at the original header of any email, and if you're sending out emails, you could also look at the original header and look at this and see how it's being received. So these are the 3 records that need to be added: SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Passed SPF, it passed DKIM, but it failed DMARC. So they're actually missing something. And a lot of people right now are just failing DKIM, failing SPF, and all of these are the things that are going to land you straight to the spam folder. So let's get into how can we fix this. Now, these are simply records you can add to your domain name. So you need to have access to your domain name wherever you're sending emails on. So if you're sending it through Outlook, MyEmma, MailChimp, Aweber, whatever platform you're sending, you're going to get those e-records from that platform. So that platform is the place that has to provide you with the records that you need to add to your domain name, and then you add it to your domain name, and that creates the authentication. As a quick note, these are basically CNAME and text records. That's what they refer to. I'm going to show an example about how to do this through MailChimp with these records added onto the DNS. So you need to have access to your domain name, and you need to have access to whatever platform that you're sending from, and grab the records from there. So if we go into MailChimp, I'm just going to do a quick example and have access to I'm using Namecheap, and I'm using on my domain name. I don't really send out e-blast, but I'm just going to use this as a test. You want to get access to your DNS section, whether you're in GoDaddy or Namecheap or wherever you are. And then what we're going to do is here, I actually just went into email authentication. You'll find this in whatever platform you're using, and I'm going to manually authenticate my domain. So if I go into here, it says, who's your DNS provider? It doesn't really matter because I'm going to do it manually, but I'm going to say Namecheap. Sometimes they log in and do this authentication and add it for you, but I'm going to show you how you can add those. So I'm going to go next. And they're just telling me where to go. I sort of already know where to go. It's the advanced DNS. And now, so here are the records that you need to add. These are the DKIM records. So these are records saying, go ahead and add this on, because this comes from us, and we want to make sure that we're allowed to send through your domain name. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go over to the advanced DNS, and I'm going to just add a new record, and these are CNAME records. So I'm going to add this as the host, then the value, copy and pasting the value, and I'm just going to make it, this is just the TTL expiration, so that doesn't matter. I'm just going to save it. That's 1 record added, so 1 down. Now we have the CNAME records added, and that is what is called DKIM. Now we're going to go into what is the SP. This is the DMARC. So now you need to also add the DMARC. So we're going to go here, right? That is this guy, right? So we've added the DKIM, which is usually those CNAME. Now we're going to add the DMARCs. And now we're going to go add new. That's just a text record. So you're just going to go text record, DMARC. We're going to get the value, copy over, paste, make it 1 minute. Save. Now I'll close out here. There should be one more, but some people allow it to go without it. It's like this. So typically it goes VSPF1, and you don't need the IP address. You can put the IP address, but usually places like MyEmma will give you this domain name. So a lot of times it'll be something, whatever, MailChimp.com or whatever it is. I'm surprised MailChimp didn't do that. And then you'll add that. And that's just another way of saying these servers are allowed to send email from my domain name. That's usually pretty important. So let me continue with the process and see what it says here. So I'll check the status, and it says waiting, so it's going to wait for 24 hours. So this is exactly the SPF record you would add, which would be a TXT record, where with Miami it's saying make sure that this is allowed to be included. So just again, in order for this to happen, you want to make sure that you are adding SPF. Well, let's start with DKIM, SPF records, then a DMARC. The DKIM is typically going to be CNAME records. SPF DMARC is going to be text records. The DKIM records you should get from whatever platform, Outlook, Miami, Aweber, whoever you're sending emails through. And same thing with the SPF, you need to get that value, like this guy, from there as well. The DMARC is usually default value, just saying what to do if things don't kind of get authenticated, to quarantine them, or what it's some sort of protocol to decide what happens if it's not authenticated. Without these three, typically go to spam. So that's the way to deal with this, and I hope you guys can finally get some emails going through. If you're an agency, making sure that these emails are actually landing in people's inboxes. And again, it's not too difficult. You just got to make sure you get these records. Just make sure you have access to the domain name, and make sure you have access to the articles or whatever records that you need to get from the email platform that you're sending from. Hope you guys like this. See you guys in the next video.